What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It is your Stephen in Knowledge Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Ladies Lounge. Hope all the ladies, hope y'all doing good. Hope so far everybody had a wonderful weekend. So if not, don't be discouraged. You don't know how God is going to bless you throughout the week. So just continue to stay motivated and just, don't focus so much on the negativity and watch how God will just start opening doors for you. So, nevertheless, I thought it was very imperative that I spoke about this subject because there's so many women throughout the United States of America that are going through this issue. More so pertaining to married women, and women who aren't married as well also experience it, but it's even more difficult and it's even more challenging when you are married to a man who has children from previous relationships in which there is not a good relationship with him and the mother of that child. So, unfortunately, these days, it's going to get harder. The chances are going to become even slimmer of finding a man who does not already have children. It's going to be very, very difficult, just to be honest with you. It's not too many people. The older you become, it's gonna be even more challenging finding someone who doesn't have children. I mean, some people have become parents at a very young age. Some people have become parents in marriages that did not work out, that ended into divorce disputes. So it's just going to be very challenging, especially if you're pushing your 40s, and if you're definitely over 40, it's going to be very challenging. It's going to be hard to find a man that does not have children. Just like it's hard for a lot of men to find women who don't have children. Or it's going to always be the opposite. If you develop a relationship, someone is coming with children. It's either going to be the woman that's going to be coming with children, or it's either going to be the man that's going to come with children. Or in some cases, it'll be both. And in that case, sometimes it's better because both can understand, both can relate, since both are parents. But sometimes love just does not go according to plan. You have your hopes and dreams set on a certain type of man, that you want to build a future with, that you want to build a family with. And most of the time, women would rather enter into a relationship in which a man does not already have children, just like some men. A lot of men, as a matter of fact, they rather build a family from scratch. They don't want to go into a pre-made family and have to take on that role of being a stepfather, but we'll save that for another time. In this case, we're specifically talking about women that are married to men with children. So, nevertheless, like I said, love doesn't always go according to plan. You may have your heart, your mind set on this kind of man I want. He cannot have any children. He cannot have bad credit. He has to have at least one college degree. He has to have a credit score of at least 800 or higher. We have all these preferences. But as life goes on, reality does not always pan out the way we had fantasized. In many cases, your companion is going to be the total opposite of what you had in mind. Most women that are married will tell you their husband wasn't initially their type. Now, you may have maybe 3 out of 7 women who probably married men who pretty much fit the exact bracket of everything they was looking for. But for the most part, most married women will tell you that their husbands was not their initial type. I mean, I'm guilty of it. My husband was not my initial type. And he knows that. And it still bothers him to this day. But, it was just something about him that made him so different from my type, from my preference. I found out he was a very good guy. He was very supportive, had my back, supported me at my worst. met me when I was at my lowest, and he didn't judge me for that, and I ended up, really falling in love with him, once I got to be in his company for a substantial amount of time. The more we started spending quality time together, the more I began to bond with him. And I just realized what made him so different from the other guys was this dude just always had my back. Whenever I had a problem, I had something going on, I was able to call him, and I don't mean just because I had a financial problem. It could be anything. Just needing somebody to listen to, just needing somebody that's going to take the time out to be there for me. And he did that, and a lot of the guys from my past, they did not do that. And that's what made him stand out. It wasn't because just his money or the fact that he was more self-sufficient than I was during that season and time when we met. He was just totally different, and that's what tends to happen as women get older. You realize that preference thing isn't always cut out like we think. You can have in your mind what type of man you want. You can design the man you want mentally all you want, but truth be told, the odds of getting that in reality, it's going to be pretty fickle. It's that 80-20. You may get 20% of it, you may get 80% of it, but you're not going to get 100% of it. And that's just the God's honest truth. And you got to pick your battles. You have to pick your battles. And unfortunately, that battle may be he may have children from a previous relationship. Now, like I stated, I dated guys who did not have kids, but we were not compatible. There was not a connection. These dudes were selfish. They put themselves first. I couldn't reach out to them when I just needed them to be supportive. So, you got to pick your battles. Meet a man, no kids, but he don't give a damn. And here it is. You got a man who does have baggage, but he cares about you. He looks out for you. He makes sure you're straight. He makes sure you're good. He's just calling you out the blue just to check on you. You all right today? How you feeling today? Just want to make sure you was good. Want to make sure you were straight. Did you have lunch? Did you have breakfast? I just want to treat you out to breakfast before you went to work. It's the little things that make a man's character stand out from the rest. So you as a woman have to make that decision as far as to what type of man you're willing to settle down with, who you're willing to choose as your companion. But to the subject at hand, it's not going to be too many men you're going to meet that does not have children. So, with that being said, dealing with the man who has children has challenges. Now, not to discourage, but children are not the problem. Most of the time, children aren't the problem when it comes to getting involved in a relationship. And let me start off by saying this before I proceed. If you're the type of woman, you're not going to deal with the man who has children under any circumstances. You done already made your mind up. That is just on your, that's just all bets are off. If a man has children, that totally disqualifies him right off the muscle as far as companionship potentials. Then you might not want to continue with this video. This video is not to persuade women who have already decided that they do not want to be involved with a man who has children. That is your preference. I can respect that. So, with all due respect, you don't have to come in the chat room, well, I don't want a man with kids. That's fine. This is only for women who have found themselves, in a relationship with men who have children, and they are struggling, trying to take on that role as a stepmother. Or maybe you're a woman who is not in a relationship, but you're thinking about taking the friendship to the next level. But the issue that's holding you back is the fact that he has children. This is what this particular content is for. It's for women that are either in relationships with men who got children or women who are thinking about progressing to the next level. So If you're dead set against men with children, then, you might not even want to put your energy into listening to this video, because if you have already decided you are against something, it's just going to make you resent it even more if you're listening to something that's trying to convince you or trying to make you see things in a different way. So, my objective is not to force a woman or to try to manipulate or convince. It's just to give you a different insight. And I'm not going to give you all the bad without giving you some of the good. And I'm not going to give you all the good without giving you some of the bad. Both are going to come hand in hand. Now, you have a lot of women that are married to men who have children. And what I've come to discover is there are a lot of women that are disconnecting, that have already made the ultimate decision that I'm going to, be dedicated to my marriage to the end. But as far as me taking on the role of mothering his children, I am not going to get myself involved in that part of his life. And I know that sounds pretty harsh. And I know you're going to have women that are going to be judgmental, especially women who who are married to men, especially women who have children from men who are married to women that will not deal with their children. So when it comes to this type of content, baby mamas most of the time are going to be in their feelings, because the first thing they're going to think is, why are you discouraging women from not being there for their husband's child? That's not right with the child. And I will say this, you have a lot of these, toxic ass baby mamas that will try to find any excuse, to hang over, to use their children to hang over their head to tolerate their disrespect. And to me, that's a crock of bull crap. Nobody has to be there for your children. If you have been very disrespectful, if you have been very non-compliant, you've been trying to regulate another woman's household just because you have children from her current husband that you was in a previous relationship with, you have a lot of women that don't know their place as a baby mama. They don't know their place. And the bad part is, as much as it is not fair to the children suffer. They get caught up in the midst of it because, for one, the mother, in many cases, is manipulating that child to be disrespectful or to feel some type of way, or two, the child tends to gain their own disrespectful behavior based on their mother's emotions. And it is because of that a lot of married women are opting away from being a stepmother. Because at the end of the day, as a woman, you got to do what's going to protect your sanity, your peace of mind. Marriage by itself is already work. It's an ongoing job. So the last thing you need is, you already got to try to fulfill your duties as a wife and get along with your husband. Nobody needs to deal with a toxic ass baby mama and a disrespectful child from that toxic ass baby mama, on top of trying to have a civil union with your husband. You got women that are backing up. You have wives who have decided to wash their hands, especially when you have tried, you have done your all, you have put in every effort trying to be the bigger woman. But it's hard to be the bigger woman with a bitter woman. Let me repeat that again. It's hard to be a bigger woman for a bitter woman. It's hard to fulfill the duty of being the bigger person when you have someone that's constantly challenging you, because in their minds, they feel like they got the upper hand because they had the child before you got in the picture. And again, a lot of these women, they do not know their place. And they don't respect the fact that once a man has remarried or has gotten married and never been married to her, that the dynamics of the game have changed. It doesn't matter what it was like before he was married. It doesn't matter of how much you was able to get the father of your child to do before they got married. None of that matters anymore. That man that was the man that you was used to him being before he had this child, before he had this wife, before he married into another family and started a new family, that man no longer exists. Let it go, sis. He does not exist anymore. Doesn't matter if you had him jumping at your every becking call. He is now somebody else's husband. He is now a family man to a whole nother family. Now, does this mean he's supposed to exclude the child and act like the child does not exist? No. But it does mean that you, as the baby mama, you have to adapt, and adjust to this new dynamic. Your say-so doesn't carry the same amount of weight it used to carry. It just doesn't. I said, I don't care what it was like in 2005, 2007. If he got remarried in 2020, guess what? The dynamics changed from that point. If he moved on and got a new family in 2021, the dynamics have changed. A lot of women cannot understand that. They cannot respect that. They cannot abide by that. And that is the reason we have the problems that we are having now. Everyone has to know their position, and they have to play their position in these type of situations. But again, if she's a bitter woman, it's not going to matter if you're trying to be the bigger woman. If she's bitter, it's not going to matter if you are being cooperative. It doesn't matter if you're being respectful. It won't matter if you're trying to allow her to also, have a say-so to a certain degree. It doesn't matter if you try to welcome her. The bigger woman can never please the bitter woman. It does not matter what you do. You can invite this woman over for dinner so y'all can sit down and get an understanding. She may decline, not want to come. Or if she does come, she's coming with an attitude. She's coming because she wants to use this opportunity as a way to stir up drama, cause chaos, cause confusion. In other words, she's not coming with the best of intentions. She's coming to be messy. Because the whole bottom line is, the truth be told, a lot of these women just still want to be with the father of their child. Or if they don't want to be with the father of the child, they just don't want to see that man move on and be happy. And that's really the biggest key. Majority of these baby mamas, they don't always want the baby daddy. They just don't want to see him happy with someone else. And don't let her be miserable. Don't let her not have nobody. It's even worse. Because she's already, feeling down and out because she doesn't have anyone. So the last thing she's going to do is be a compliant counterpart and try to get along with the father of her child and his wife, because again, her bitterness is going to always be that roadblock that's going to prevent her from trying to get along with them. And this is the reason why you have a lot of women that are backing up from being stepmothers. Every woman who has initially tried and has put their best foot forward, at some point in time, that baby mother, the mother of their father, of their husband's child, has done something low down, disrespectful. She has done something to where the wife had finally had enough to say, you know what? I have nothing against the child. I don't hate the child. I don't resent the child. But because I know she's going to always use that child to try to bring chaos to my marriage, confusion to my household, I cannot get myself deeply involved with that child. And the sad part is, these baby mamas are so conniving. They know what they're doing. They know they are intentionally doing things to cause chaos and confusion and havoc. But then they will turn around and play the victim when the woman catches on, because women we could always read women. It's just something women know about each other, men will never be able to detect. And once the wife has gotten smart enough and caught on that, no, you're manipulating the situation, you're using the child to get what you want, the baby mother will try to manipulate it like she's the victim. You just don't want nothing to do with my child. You don't accept my child. You will not make my child feel welcome when my child was here before you. No, I cannot accept your child because of you. You have made me uncomfortable with wanting to be there for your child, with wanting to be like a mother figure, not the child's mother. I'm not trying to take your place. I'm not trying to take over, but you have discouraged me from doing that. Because every time I let my guard down and I open myself up a little bit more, letting the child come over more, try to plan things with my husband, you get in your feelings like, why am I involved? It's you and his child. Why do I get to say what kind of cake and what kind of balloons? Even if I'm doing something with good intentions, you're going to try to find something bad out of it. And the part that frustrates the women, the wives, is the fact that the husbands really can't do anything with their baby mamas. Not that we can expect them to, because she's a grown-ass woman. His baby mama is not his child. He cannot make her. He cannot force her. But at the same token, it's very frustrating when, in many cases, some of these men have to become extra docile and humble so they don't piss the mother of their children off, and now she can use the children as a weapon to make his life difficult. Well, you can't see little JJ this weekend. I don't want you coming to pick him up. I don't want you bringing her around. If I plan a birthday party, y'all got to come over here. We're not going to your house this year. The man is stuck between trying to not piss his wife off, but at the same time, he wants to get along with the mother of his child. I will say this again, and I'm going to keep beating this like a drum until you wives get it. You cannot be a bigger woman with a bitter woman. It does not matter. You could agree to pay for the whole party. She'll still find something wrong to say about it. She'll still find fault. You can get the kids every weekend. She'll still find fault. You can't be bigger with the person that's bitter. It's not going to work. I don't care how you slice it or dice it. So, you have a lot of married women that have finally gotten to a point in which, because you can't separate your love from your husband based on the circumstances, even though the circumstances are unpleasant. But you have a lot of women that have gotten to that point in which they have backed up and have decided, you know what, I'm going to leave this between the both of y'all. And to be honest, if you know you are a woman where you're quick to get out of character, you know you will get ratchet, you get out of character. It is better to be the bigger person, isolate yourself, and let him and her decide what they're going to do. Long as it's not infiltrating in your household or your marriage, then that's all that matters. Now, I've been having a lot of women who have been hitting me up. A lot of women who have been wanting me to be very transparent and basically share more information as far as giving tips and advice about step parenting, how to deal with the child, how to deal with the husband, as far as how y'all can agree to reach a common ground as to which you can balance still having a drama-free marriage, but at the same token, him still being able to have a healthy relationship with his child. So, there's a lot of dynamics to step parenting, and it's so much I have to share with you ladies. Because of that, I'm not going to mish all of the information in one video. I'm going to have to break this up in series. I'm going to have to break this up in parts because there's so much to being a stepmother. There's so much to being involved with the man who has children. And I'm sure most of you that are already in that situation knows it's a lot. Or it's some of you that are not quite in the situation, but you're in a relationship or you're married to a man who does have children. So eventually you're going to end up having to be more involved, and it's going to get to that point. So there's so many dynamics and different elements that have to be discussed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this series up into probably 5 different parts. So the first part, I'm first going to discuss how you and the husband communicate. Then I'm going to do a second part with how you connect with the mother. Then I'm going to do a third part with how the mother and your husband connect. Then I'm going to do another part with how you connect with the child. So I don't have a specific order, but I'm going to break this up in different parts because there's just too much that ties into the situation. They just squeeze it all in one content. And sometimes when you put too much information in one unit, a lot of significant details are overlooked. A lot of significant points are not addressed. So I'm going to have to bulletproof a lot of the elements into each unit as I break step parenting, being a stepmother, into different series. So that's the way I'm going to do it. So that way we can grasp the different aspects, as I stated, how you communicate with your husband. Because for one, you and your husband got to be on the same accord. If you and your husband have poor communication skills in the marriage alone, he's stubborn, he doesn't listen to you, or vice versa, you're stubborn and listen to him, you and your husband are the foundation of the situation. So most likely, that's going to be the first part of the series. you both have to have a stable foundation. If both of you are not on the same accord, it's definitely going to create a lot of chaos. It's going to give people on the outside a lot of room to create chaos, a lot of room to infiltrate and make things more difficult. Anytime an outsider sees there's a crack in your marriage, sees that y'all don't communicate effectively, an outsider, the baby mama, can see that she can pitch y'all against one another. You know, the fact that y'all don't try to protect y'all marriage, y'all let it be known that she has an advantage in infiltrating. You know, y'all arguing, you know, in her presence, or you arguing in front of the child, and then the child goes back and tell the mother. She knows there's discord in your marriage because of her. And believe it or not, a lot of these women get a kick out of that. They get such a kick out of knowing that they are causing division and destruction in your marriage and your household. You got a lot of these baby mamas, they are very vindictive. They're very malicious. They're hateful. They're mean and evil spirited. So this is probably going to be like a 5 to 6 part series, um, in which I'm going to be, you know, breaking down the different parts, different elements, because there's a lot that ties into this. So again, I definitely don't have a problem with doing this. I know I have a lot of insightful information. I was going to help a lot of you women out that are lost in the sauce. A lot of you probably done read books. Y'all done looked up, you know, Googled how to be a supportive wife or a good stepmother articles. A lot of you have probably um, tried every avenue you can to try to get some answers so you can find a way to deal with this in a peaceful, civil manner. And it's just not enough information out there. But rest assured, I have all the ingredients to the recipe. This is something that I don't do just to do. I'm good at it. And the reason I'm good at it is because I've experienced it. And because I've experienced, had I known then what I know now, I could have saved myself a lot of headaches. And as a woman, I have a lot of compassion for women out there who are having difficulty finding themselves um, as a stepmother. They don't know how to connect with their husbands. They don't know how to connect with the children. They don't know how to connect with baby mama. It's so much, you know, that has to be dealt with. And sometimes we all need guidance, you know. And I've been in this game for a long time, so I'm not giving advice based on what I heard or what I think, but basically on what I know. So I'm going to be breaking this up into a series. I haven't came up with a name for it yet, but I'm working on that. But we're going to start this year here, 2022. We're going to break down those barriers. I'm going to fix it to where you as a stepmother, you as a wife, we're going to help you find peace with this situation. You just have to be willing to receive. You can't be stubborn. And again, you got to be willing to want to be bigger, not willing to be bitter. If you want to be stuck in your bitter ways, then guess what? You're going to waste your time even, you know, trying to learn from the content or even listening to the content. So the only thing that I ask of you ladies, being that I'm willing to put myself out there and really help y'all in 2022 find a healthy way, not a perfect way, but a healthy way of dealing with the challenges of being a stepmother or being in a relationship with a man that has children from a bitter baby mama, toxic baby mama. Only thing that I ask you ladies is to please, you know, tithe into you know, my seminar, you know, tithe into the channel so I can continue giving you information that's definitely going to be valuable. It'll be a blessing for the both of us. It'll help me to be able to build my platform. It'll help me to be able to also write a book on dealing with step parenting. So if you can, if God blesses you to put it on your heart, definitely please, you know, submit donations, cash app, anything you can. I don't care if it's $2. I don't care if it's $5. It's a lot of content creators that's on here getting money, and they're not even doing anything effectively to help women or effectively to help men. You know, they just give you something that makes you feel good, that boosts up your confidence for the moment, but it's not really edifying. It's not helping you with your situation. So if you can look out for these other content creators that aren't really giving you information that's edifying, that you can utilize, that'll be a benefit to you in your situation, you know, look out for struggle, you know, a struggle content creators, as they would call it. You know, look out for the small people. You know, we may be small, but we're doing big things. You know, we're doing something that's edifying and valuable. So definitely, you know, if you can, please look out for the channel. Donate. I don't care if it's $2. I don't care if it's $3. Every little bit helps. Again, we're going into 2022, and I want to help women that are in marriages and in relationships. We're going to come together and find a more effective way of dealing with these toxic baby mamas, you know. And what better way than to get information, get advice and guidance from a person who has already experienced it, know the ins and outs, know what's ahead, you know, somebody who already know what's to come. If you don't get a grip and you don't get an understanding on what you're really up against. Also, for those that are not married but are thinking about progressing into marriage, this may give you information that will might make you reconsider. Like, you know what? I don't know if I want to marry into this. I don't know if I want to go full force with this. This may help you to be able to scope out and prepare yourself in the event that you decide to make that next step with this man and marry him and be his wife. This may make you reconsider that. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You need to know what all being a stepmother ties into, especially when you're dealing with a toxic, bitter baby mama. Because there's some things you're going to have to deal with. You're going to have to deal with your husband um, at times, you know, going against the grain when you're giving him advice and you see that the woman's being vindictive, but he's so focused on having a connection with the child that he may disregard you. In some instances, he may even disrespect you. And this is something that you have to be prepared to deal with, you know. And it doesn't mean it's the end of the world in the event that these things occur. The purpose of this webinar is to give you tactics and strategies on how to deal with men, how to deal with your husband, how to deal with your fiance, men who are so willing to have a connection with the child that they are willing to go against what the wife or the fiance feels, you know. And again, I've experienced all of this. And this is not to say it cannot work out. It can still work out. It's not the end of the world, but it's never the situation. It's how you are handling it. It's how you handling it. Let's face it, as wives, as women, we can be possessive sometimes when it comes to our men. We can be very possessive. We want them to do it the way we want them to do it, even with good intentions. You may not be trying to control him or regulate him, but you see him making decisions that's going to constantly come back to bite him because you know the woman is being malicious. You know she's being vindictive. So even as a wife, you have to draw a line. You have to realize that you are just his wife. You're not his mother. We're going to talk about all of that in the series. We are going to break everything down to the lowest common denominator. Again, the purpose of this bitter baby mama drama webinar is for stepmothers, for newlywed wives to be able to deal with a situation, not perfectly, but peacefully. So again, you know, definitely ladies, if this is something you're interested in learning, you read all the books, you read all the articles, this is what I'm here for. And we're going to get down to the steak and potatoes. So again, please make sure you ladies, please donate to the movement. You have any questions or things you want me to hit on, leave it in the comment below. That way when I do the series, again, please don't post a whole book life series of your situation. I'm going to do that later on down the line. where I actually start taking phone calls, and I will individually, start dealing with that. So please be courteous. Keep the questions kind of short. Keep them kind of general, because I know everybody has a different situation. Some of you been in the situation for 20 years. Some of you been in it for 2 years. Some of y'all are married to men that got 3, 4 baby mamas. Some of y'all are married to men that just got 1 baby mama. Everybody got different dynamics, and I'm not going to have time to read everybody's situation. We're going to save that after this 5 or 6 piece part series is done and over with. Then we'll channel in more into we'll do individual calls and things of that nature. But for now, let's keep it simple. And for those who are interested in joining and learning more about the Baby Mama Drama webinar, definitely subscribe to my channel, Mocha's Ladies Lounge. Make sure you hit the notification bell, so when I do my webinar, when I go live, or if I do a recorded session, you'll be notified. And that'll be the time that you can type your questions below in the comments. And what I will do is I will read and reflect on as many questions as I can, so when I do my next series, I could address some of those things, okay? So anyway, y'all, again, make sure you subscribe to Mocha's Ladies Lounge. We're going to be doing a bitter baby mama drama webinar. I'm going to start helping out women that are in chaotic, toxic, unhealthy situations in which they have no desire to want to be a stepmother, have no desire to want to connect with the husbands of with the children of their husbands, due to the fact the baby mama is bitter, she's toxic, she's causing a lot of strife, she's causing a lot of conflict, and it's gotten to the point now the child is feeding off of it. They're acting and behaving, acting out like their mothers, being disrespectful. You may be a woman, you witness your husband being disrespected by the child because the mother is passing down her bitter character traits. So, honey, we're going to, like I said, we're going to hit up on everything, but look out for your girl now. Donate, support the channel. You know what I mean? Help us sister out, so anyway, that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to shut it down, and make sure you guys, look out for the series, look out for the content. Share the information with other women, y'all. Come on, share the video. I'm sure you may have a girlfriend, you got a sister going through the bitter baby mama drama. Share this on your Facebook. Share it on your Instagram. It's women that are in the struggle being a stepmother. You get what I'm saying? So share the information. Make sure they subscribe to the channel as well. Make sure when I go live, or if I have a pre-recorded session, that you notify them so they can be there as well. We all got to come together. We all got to uplift each other. So make sure y'all pass the knowledge on, y'all, because there's so many women that's going through this. And trust me, I get it. So I'm going to shut it down. It is your diva and knowledge lady, Mocha. Remember, I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth. I'm going to always make you off a slice of knowledge. And again, I appreciate y'all for supporting me at Mocha's Ladies Lounge. Let's get it cracking.